today was quite specific in terms of the target. We've done a number of technical briefings on EMV chip as we readied the market for this innovation. And today we're really going to go a little bit more into the Paynet offering, and so this is unashamedly a day talking about ourselves as opposed to the generic technology, etc. But perhaps I could tell you a little bit about what's happened up to that point. We started last year we actually had a breakfast session in about July last year where we introduced the idea of EMV chip to the marketplace. But did that on quite a technical basis. We had some speakers from Visa, MasterCard, I know TSYS were there. And since that point, working with various bodies, you can see that the initiative has grown some momentum. If you look to the right, you'll see, and at the back, we then earlier this year came up with the concept of the Great Migration to EMV chip. And that's our effort, but supporting the industry initiative. And you'll see there that Kenya Bank Association has endorsed that, Visa, De La Rue. I know that we expect MasterCard to be signing that today. And then as banks commit to EMV, they will also do the same thing. So as I say, it's really been about building a market momentum. The need for it, I don't think I really need to go into too much detail. We saw the report yesterday in the press, whether these numbers are ever entirely accurate, talking about 1.5 billion in internal fraud. That didn't relate to external fraud, so we know that the numbers are high. And for all of us in the industry, I think we saw activity really pick up in November, December, January, amongst the fraudsters and skimmers, and I don't think it's really let up too much since that point. And so it's been I hate to say that it was predicted, but we talked about the problem of the magnetic stripe cards, how easy they are to attack, and as the rest of the world adopts EMV chip, the need for us to do the same thing will become a target. And I have to say that it gives me no satisfaction to say I think we were right in predicting this influx and targeting, and I think it will remain that. And that's why I think we've seen the central bank, the KBA, everybody getting behind this initiative and saying we've really got to shore up. So that's the sort of market position, if you like, and what we've been involved with, getting together stakeholders, making sure, for example, that we talk about the techie stuff, standards, and how we're going to operate certain things, trying to lay the groundwork for the industry so that the overall implementation is successful. But of course we have a stake in the industry as well, and as I said, today is a little bit about that. I did promise as well to keep today at business language, and I intend to keep that promise. But if you feel I'm going off course, just put your hand up and I'll reverse back. Let me start by talking about what we've done to date as Paynet. As you know, we drive a lot of acquiring infrastructure for commercial banks and our partners. And so that was the first initiative for us, was to get the acquiring infrastructure EMV chip certified for those that were members of card associations. And so you can see there our Pesa Point infrastructure, NIC Bank, DTB Bank in Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, and then BPR Bank, which is the largest bank in Rwanda. We do the ATM acquiring for them. And so that's the work we've done on EMV chip acquiring. Is everyone comfortable with the concept of acquiring? I'll just say it, that acquiring, when we talk about that, we're saying this is using a device, either an ATM point of sale or mobile channel, and essentially what we're saying with acquiring is it's about capturing the transaction and moving it through the infrastructure. And so to certify on EMV acquiring, you have to have your devices up to date, so that's ATMs or point of sale have to be up to date, and then you have to have your switches that drive the devices also up to date and set up for EMV chip. Once you've done that, you then need to certify And once you've certified, you need to certify every single machine in your infrastructure. There has been some, grey areas sometimes with banks saying, yes, we're certified, but we've really only certified one of our ATMs in the whole fleet. Actually, what happens in the case of some of these big frauds, and I think you saw in the news 2 weeks ago, the big global fraud, is forensic auditors come in and actually back check to make sure that all your standards are actually in place. So it's not good enough to waive a certificate and say we want certified for EMV acquiring. You've got to they will check to see if on the day of the fraudulent transaction you were actually in scope or not. So if you changed anything or if you fell out of scope, unfortunately you miss out. The point of sale infrastructure that we have today, it does not acquire, this is our PESA points, it does not acquire branded cards, and so we haven't had the same drive to have this certified for acquiring, but as part of the national initiative, we will make sure that that's done by the end of November this year. And in fact, we're also changing the platform that we operate our point of sale on. We probably would have certified last year, but we, as I say, changing platforms, we felt we should go through that first and then certify. And then the big one, issuing. So this is the production of EMV chip cards out of a card management system and sending them out to your customers. Currently, we're in. You see there, we're in the process of upgrading our card management system to TSYS's Prime 4, and we have 2 customers already signed up and in projects to issue chip cards off that platform. So that's Family Bank and NIC Bank. Just quickly then to say, excuse me, I think I've. There you go. Just quickly to say, what do we offer? That won't take me too long. We have I think most of you are aware, we have a card processing center where we offer services to financial institutions. We do this for both branded and non-branded cards. We do debit, credit, and prepaid cards out of that card center. And on top of that, we build our own innovations and technologies. Card Watch is SMS alerts that we've built in. Card View is taking data out into the bank. So I think you know the scenario. A customer walks into a front teller and says, I'd like to ask you something about my credit card. And the front teller, in most cases in this country, and in fact globally, says, I'm sorry, I can't see the card system for credit cards from here. You'll have to go and talk to the card center or somebody within the branch who can. Our approach has been to put the information at every single teller point, so everybody can answer questions relating to cards. They can't update that data, but they can actually answer and see the information of the customer. So we have, as I say, a well-established card processing division, and I think, as I say, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The one thing I think that we just simply can't talk about, I'd love to, is our fraud management. If I could show you our performance versus what banks budget for, it's truly exceptional. I personally have done the numbers, and it pays for itself, just in terms of what we save an institution. But if I start sharing you those numbers, you know who the customers are, and suddenly we're starting to divulge information we can't. But as I say, I think that's a big plus. So that's a quick overview of what we do. What I'd like to do now is introduce to you Malik Maruna. I think most of you know Malik. Malik's from TSYS, and he heads business development for an area I think greater than any of the great conquerors I've ever tried to hold. Africa, Middle East, and Asia all in one go. I don't believe that's been done before. So falling under Malik. But what I'd like to do is just ask Malik to give us a quick overview of who TSYS is and what the Prime 4 platform that we're implementing does. Now, it's really it is going to be high level for you, but so you get a sense of what we've got running and who it is behind it. So